The perfidy of Barack Hussein Obama. The day that the UN vote took place is the same day we read that there was an Egyptian woman who liked the way Joseph looked, and she wanted, despite the fact that she was married to his master, she wanted to have relations with him. And when he refused to have relations with her, she got angry and tried to kill him. But he was thrown instead into a jail. Now this doesn't make sense. Supposedly you love this man. If you love this man, why do you want to kill this man? The answer is you don't love this man. You love having relations with this man. And since this man has rejected you, well then you hate a person who rejects you. And therefore you'll show that SOB, you'll show that Jew just what you think of him, not doing what you want. And so you're going to throw him under the bus. In this case, you threw him in a pit. And that's what Obama did. That blankety-blank Jew, Netanyahu, thinks he's so smart. I'm a Harvard graduate. I know what's right. I know what's good and what's good for him. And he doesn't want to listen to me. I'll show him. So you showed him. And you threw him in a pit. You know what the Torah says about this? You got into a pit. But the master of the pit, the jailer, found that Joseph was absolutely delightful and made him the master of the pit. And Joseph, despite being thrown into a terrible condition, Joseph flourished in that pit. And not only did he flourish, in this week's Torah portion, he becomes the viceroy, the ruler, not just of that pit, but of all of Egypt. The lesson is very clear, Mr. President. You're frustrated that Bibi Netanyahu did not listen to you. You, with your infinite wisdom, with Saul Alinsky's philosophy, you with your socialist bend, who decide that you know what's good for everybody. Everybody else's thoughts be damned. You who think that the world has to revolve around your ideas. You're frustrated with a Jew who is highly intelligent, powerful, charismatic, a man of action and a man who actually went to war. A warrior, which you're not. You're a wimp. You never fought a battle. You never struggled like he did with enemies. You were given a silver spoon when you were younger, yes. There were prejudices, but nobody was out to kill you. Bibi Netanyahu faced enemies who wanted to kill him. He's a warrior, a hero, and a great statesman. So much so, he brought the house down when he spoke in the House of Representatives for dual session of Congress, House of Senators. He brought the house down. He was a rock star in your alleyway, in your town of Washington. That's why you hate him. You hate him because he's so smooth, because he's so smart, because he's so strong, because he's so masculine, And those are qualities that you don't have, unfortunately. You're bright, you're charismatic, you're articulate, but you're not manly, and you're certainly not a great leader. And those are things that you hate when you see someone like Netanyahu not listen to you. So what did you do? You stuck it to him when he could not defend himself after the election. Nobody's going to say anything in 4 years because it'll be forgotten. But it won't be forgotten. Because every perfidy is recorded, just as the perfidy of Mrs. Potifar is recorded in the Torah. The perfidy of a person who violates all kinds of humanitarian principle for political expediency and for socialist doctrine, that perfidy is recorded and will not be forgotten. And the Jewish people will flourish, and Bibi Netanyahu will flourish, as the Torah says. You put him in a pit, but that pit will be the source of his success. The anger you show at Jewish settlements will cause a building of those settlements that you hate, and a strengthening of the resolve of the Jewish people to survive. Israel doesn't need the United States for economy. It has its own gas and oil. It has its own armaments that it can create. The only reason they buy arms from this country is because America has forced Israel not to develop their own. What you'll do is you'll force Israel to develop their own arms, their own sophisticated arms. And don't forget, the Jewish mind is very, very fertile for creating new inventions, especially in warfare. You will unleash a giant in a small body, but a giant nonetheless. Bibi Netanyahu and his people will flourish, and your perfidy will be remembered for a long time.